Thank you, Madam Chairperson and Senators. I was glad you allowed me to go first because I got here at 12 o'clock to sign up. So I appreciate it. My name is Joseph Vera, and I'm from Smithfield. I'm a 67-year resident of the state and a life member of Wallum Lake Rod and Gun Club. I'm not here representing the club. There are 150 or so people out there that'll be more than happy to do that. My problem with all of this is that we've heard the term assault weapon thrown around like it's a specific weapon, and it's not. It's just another gun. And the reason I say that is if you look at the assault weapons ban that's being proposed, it has a list of firearms in it, and one of the firearms that's not included in that list is a Ruger Mini 14. Now I'm going to have a lot of my yellow-shirted friends here saying, "What are you doing? Tell them about a gun. It's not on the list." It is exactly the same gun as an AR-15, but because it has a wooden stock, it's not an evil gun. It doesn't have a military look, but it can do just as much damage as an AR-15 can. So this whole assault weapons term is just, it's been perverted into being a scary term. And since that doesn't seem to be working very well, we've now grabbed the term weapons of war. Well, I would submit to you that a shotgun is a weapon of war, since many military people carry shotguns. They also carry hatchets. Are those weapons of war? But I'm not going to go any further on that. I just believe that banning an assault weapon is not the solution. You've all elaborated on how the solution is security and the safety of our children. And as a gun owner, I agree with that. As far as high-capacity magazines are concerned, where did the number 10 come from? Can anybody answer that? Because it seems like it was just an arbitrary number pulled out of the sky. Frank Sakosha very eloquently elaborated on his 13-round magazine. I have several firearms that the standard magazine was either 13 or 15. Is 3 or 5 rounds really going to make a difference? No. It can be, like Frank said, instead of carrying 1 mag, he carries 2. He's in effect carrying more ammunition. So I think maybe looking at high-capacity magazines with a little different view as to what is really a high-capacity magazine. I don't own a 100-round drum magazine. I don't see the useful purpose for it. Some of my friends here in yellow shirts would probably argue with me on that too. If you do ban these magazines, you're forcing me to get rid of a bunch of magazines and replace them with 10-round magazines, and that's a monetary cost that a lot of people in the state don't need to go through, and they're voters in this state. With regard to firearms being used by youth, there's a lot of kids in this state that enjoy the hunting and shooting sports, and to restrict their access to guns it's again not going to do anything for safety, and safety is where we really have the problem. The Providence Journal reported that Rhode Island's crime rate is continuing to decline. Well, if we don't have a gun ban, what is causing that? It's something else. There's something else going on, and it's a very positive move. According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, Table 12 of 2016, 2017 is not available yet. In this state, there were 29 killings in that year. 0 with rifles, 5 with handguns, 7 of unknown weapon type, and 17 with knives, clubs, and fists. When are we going to ban those? Again, it doesn't help. But all of that aside, what really has happened here is the unthinkable. And the unthinkable is the fact that we had a social services group in Florida that failed to report an individual with obvious problems. He slit his wrists, and nobody thought he was a risk. The police visited this guy several times. As this talk, we heard number 39, 23. It was more than once. And they thought he was a problem, but not enough of a problem to keep him from getting a firearm. The FBI had credible reports that this guy was going to shoot up a school, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Was that unthinkable? I don't think so, because you can answer that for yourselves, but when Madonna publicly announced she thought a lot about blowing up the White House, did she get a visit from the FBI? I don't know. As a general aviation pilot, and I'm wearing my jacket, we discuss accident analysis fairly frequently. And the one thing we talk about is the accident chain of events. It's a sequence of events that if any one of them were broken, the accident would not happen. In Parkland, that's exactly what happened. You had an accident chain of events that was not broken. Had it been, 17 kids would not be dead today. And I think that's what's really important, that we have to protect these kids. Everybody's in agreement with that. The people with the moms that demand action, they agree with it. The people here wearing yellow shirts, we all agree with it. We don't want to see kids hurt. So keep this in mind and ask yourself, of all the mass killings that you're aware of, what was the one thing they all had in common? Was it an AR-15? No. Was it a handgun with a 13-round magazine? No. It was a mentally ill individual that should have never had a firearm in the first place. That is the focus of the problem. You fix that problem, you fix 99% of this problem. Get the mental health records into the NICS system, improve the background check system, fix the real problem, fix the system that's failed. Ban bump stocks if you want to, and I'm going to get criticism for this too. I don't care, because they shouldn't have been legal in the first place. That was an Obama-era screw-up with BATF. It should not have been legal. You've got to break the accident chain, because banning firearms, certain magazines, or even raising the legal age to buy a rifle isn't going to stop somebody intent on killing from driving a Ford F-350 with a snowplow through the Bristol 4th of July parade, killing hundreds in seconds. We've heard again about the AR-15, that it's such a weapon of war, such a weapon of mass killing. I would submit to you that if a nutcase were able to get into this door right now with a shotgun, he could take out that whole panel with 3 shots. Think about that. Banning the assault weapon, so-called, is not the answer. Banning high-capacity magazines, I really think you need to revisit the definition of what that might be. Certainly belt feeds, I think that pretty much qualifies. But 15 rounds, 13 rounds, even 20 rounds is not going to make the difference. So I urge you all to reconsider that. That's pretty much what I have to say. I've submitted this you have copies. Please excuse all the markups on it.